Assalamu alaikum, respected viewers. Once again, we are back with our program 200 Million Indian Muslims, where we present to you a weekly update on hatred, violence, Islamophobia, increasing day by day in India, not just against Muslims now, but against Christians as well. This is tightening the religious freedom of minorities, and India is leading towards becoming an extremist Hindu nation, which we can call Hindu ISIS. Let us see what happened last week in India. Amit Shah says Modi restored the humiliated status of Hindu temples. India's outspoken Home Minister Amit Shah, in a gathering in Ahmedabad, said that the situation of Hindu temples were worse before Modi came to power in 2014. Many ancient temples, as per Amit Shah, has been destroyed by Muslim invasions, which Modi has revived. People would not even like to visit temples. Narendra Modi inaugurated the renovated temple at Kashi on 13th December, which has been claimed to be ruined by Aurangzeb. What is the reason for India's Home Minister to talk about this? It's clear from such messages that Modi wants to continue his governance with the same card of Hinduism, and he wants to capitalize as much as possible using the sentiments of Hindu towards temples, and that too with hatred towards Muslims. Another significant point is when they are repeatedly mentioning the temples were ruined, turned into mosques by Muslim invaders, then it clearly means there is a well-defined path to make a Hindu Rashtra where no mosques would be seen, all turned into temples. And viewers, Kerala filmmaker Ali Akbar renounces Islam. Famous Kerala filmmaker Ali Akbar renounced Islam this week with an argument that he does not want to remain Muslim and would be just Indian after certain Muslims expressed smiley emotions on the death news of Indian CDS Bipin Rawat. Ali Akbar said that he cannot accept when a brave soldier is mocked upon, and none of the Muslim leaders criticized it. For your information, when the news of Bipin Rawat's accidental death flashed, there were some cheerful smileys posted on the news, specifically by Kashmiris, and that seemed to have hurt his namesake Muslims, who has asked Modi government to trace and punish such persons. There are few points over here which Mr. Ali Akbar and many like him have not realized. Number one, how can someone renounce his own faith so easily on comments made by someone else? This means this person never had faith before, which is a reality that the film industry in which these namesake liberals work with the Muslim tag have no faith as such, and all this drama is just to further insult Islam. They in fact, under the disguise of being Muslims, are enemies of Islam. It looks like this is a behind the curtain conspiracy to target leading Muslim elites and make them renounce Islam by presenting extremism, intolerance and ignorance in Islam. Number two, Bipin Rawat was the most cruel army general when it came to Kashmiris. The atrocities done under his commandership has been the most severe, to the extent the torture reports of Kashmiris made even Western media shriek. He didn't left anything possible for torture undone by soldiers who were given a free hand to kill, molest, rape Kashmiris. When such a tyrant passes away, that too accidentally in a crash, this would naturally soothe the heart of Kashmiris. Where was Mr. Ali Akbar when Rawat was torturing Kashmiris? Why did he not condemn Hindu faith at that time? When a Kashmir sends a smiley on Rawat's death, it makes Ali Akbar leave Islam. But when Rawat turned the smileys of thousands of Kashmiri children into tears, Ali Akbar was not even seen. Even if not Kashmiris, when the Prophet of Islam is being insulted by Hindus, he remains dumb. This is hypocrisy, and it's good that hypocrites renounces Islam. Number three, the secular liberal Muslim elites are in a big dilemma now. For them to live a comfortable, peaceful life in India just with the namesake Muslim tag is also becoming difficult day by day. Hence, they're finding ways to please Hindus, and ultimately that would happen when they renounce Islam and accept Hinduism. You'll see more of these conversions now happening specifically in the liberal, elite, corrupt namesake Muslim class. On another note, Jammu and Kashmir Bank has suspended a female staff for making derogatory comment on the death news of Bipin Rawat, and they claimed it was against the bank's policy to use social media for such comments, and now investigations would be done on this lady. It's very sad that why don't the people, specifically Muslims of India, realize what pain the Kashmiris have gone through, and when a tyrant general dies, they deserve a smile. And Hindu activists burn Christian religious book in Karnataka. In Kolar, Karnataka, the Hindu right-wing activists have burnt Christian books, that too in front of police. They claimed that the Christian missionaries were distributing the books door to door. This is the 38th attack on Christians in the last 12 months in Karnataka. The Hindus blame Christians for enticing Hindus with money to become Hindus, and they also say that due to these conversions, the Christian population in the state is growing day by day. Karnataka is about to pass an anti-religious conversion bill soon, which prohibits any religious conversions by inducement, and this bill also doesn't reserve the right to promote any religion. In another incident in Vadodara, Gujarat, the Missionaries of Charity, an organization founded by Mother Teresa, has been booked under the Gujarat Freedom of Religion Act 2003 for allegedly hurting Hindu religion sentiments and luring towards Christianity young girls in a shelter home it turns in Vadodara city. The organization has rejected the charge. A few points to be noticed over here is that there is zero tolerance towards any religion by Hindus, and this level of extremism is not seen anywhere, even in the Western world. In USA, UK, Europe, Muslims stand in markets, outside churches, and promote Islam. Today, most of the Indian elites who are in big positions are all products of these missionary convent schools. And it's these Christians who have educated the Hindus of India. And even with the high risk of foreign reactions, still the extremism is so high that nothing is paid heed to. Second thing is that even the police are afraid of these Hindu extremists, or indirectly they support them, as everything happens in front of their eyes and they watch. Third and most important point is, if today they're burning Christian books, booking cases against Christian centers, then tomorrow they can burn Muslim books and even Quran, that too in front of police. So what will Muslims do? Are they prepared to witness such a level of sacrilege? And just like they want to close down Christian centers, they will ban religious outfits and shut down Muslim centers in the name of love jihad. The question is, who will take the lead in countering this form of violent extremism? To tell you that Ram Mandir, a movement bigger than Indian freedom movement. A controversial statement has been made by the VHP Joint General Secretary Arun Kumar, quoting that the Ram Mandir movement is bigger than the Indian independence movement. He said that establishment of Ram temple at Ayodhya, that is by demolishing Babri Masjid, has given freedom to Hindu religion and culture, and has paved the way for establishing a Ram Rajya, which means a Hindu state in India. An important point made by Kumar was that the movement for demolishing mosque and building Ram temple has united Hindus from various streams, and this can be witnessed from the massive donations received. Viewers, BJP has come to power on this issue only, and they want to make Ram Mandir as an icon for their politics as well. A very common issue now being raised by extremist Hindu leaders is that the independence of India in 1947 made India a secular state, whereas our identity is Hindu, and it should become a Hindu nation, which is happening now after Ram Mandir construction. A big question now hovering in the minds of 200 million Indian Muslims is that whether the extremist Hindus backed by BJP government will allow them to live peacefully if forego their complete Muslim identity, or will they be forced to convert to Hinduism? The Muslims of India are now in a bewildered state and don't know what path they have to follow, even though the Quranic guidance is always present. and an anti-conversion love jihad bills to pass in Karnataka Assembly. Indian state Karnataka over the last 12 months has seen a big uproar in attacks on minorities, both Christians and Muslims. There have been cases of mob lynching and more than 30 attacks on Christian schools and churches with the reason that they are luring Hindus towards Christianity and Muslims are luring Hindu girls into marriage under love jihad. There are two bills put up in the assembly by the ruling BJP government. One is anti-conversion bill, primarily targeting Christians, whereby conversions from Hindu religion to another religion would be a crime. And second bill would be on love jihad marriages of Hindu girls with Muslims. Some of Christian priests and leaders have said Christianity has multiple sects and doesn't do missionary activities. Only few are into it. Some even claim that if Hindus can prove that we are luring Hindus towards conversion, we will close down all our churches and schools. They said these bills are draconian and will position us as secondary citizens. This stands true. India now wants to place every minority as secondary citizens, which means they are deprived of many citizenship rights, primarily rights to practice religion freely. And viewers, no more eggs in Ahmedabad, Modi's next experiment in his laboratory. Indian state Gujarat has a traditional decade-old culture of selling eggs in various cooked forms by street hawkers from evening to late night. But the poor eggs also has Hindu extremist enemies, specifically in Gujarat, where eggs are prohibited in certain Hindu sects. The eggs business has been initiated by Muslims, and now the majority of these hawkers are Muslims. This week, the Ahmedabad municipality cracked down and confiscated several such hawkers' goods, and what was left were just eggshells. Few weeks back, a law was passed that no meat or meat food should be sold on the street, and now even eggs are not left. For our viewers, Gujarat is a test laboratory for Modi when it comes to executing controversial Hindu nationalistic policies. The BJP have made this clear over the last few weeks that they no more care for any Muslim votes and they want to capitalize only on Hindu majority votes. So they will now to do everything possible to please Hindus. Such incidents further highlight one fact that the role of religion is growing rapidly in everyday life, specifically of Hindus, and they have zero tolerance towards anything that is contradictory to their beliefs and practices. And Islam in its core has fundamental contradiction with Hindus of monotheism versus polytheism. The coexistence of two opposite ideologies over the last 7 decades seems to not continue anymore, and Muslims who have sacrificed a lot to sustain this coexistence might not have anything left soon to coexist. They might have to either forego their identity in totality or put up a strong resistance. And viewers, hatred reaches to food in Gujarat. In another incident of hatred, Taste of India restaurant in Surat city announced a food festival starting from 12th to 22nd December and named it Pakistani Food Festival. This was not accepted by Hindu extremists, and the Bajrang Dal gang came to the restaurant and burned the banner, chanting slogans of Jai Shri Ram. This shows the level of hatred which is there towards Pakistan, where even Pakistani food style is not acceptable. Hatred in politics and even religion can be digested, but hatred with culture, and that too food, reveals that it has crossed the boiling point. The restaurant has apologized for the mistake and didn't take any legal action even against the vandalism. There is a ban on Tablighi Jamaat in Saudi spreads to India. Saudi Arabia last week banned Tablighi Jamaat and called it as one of the gates of terrorism and danger to society. The government has called Friday prayer leaders to warn people about the dangers of Tablighi Jamaat. Belonging to the Deobandi sect, the major concern which Saudi has against Tablighi Jamaat is this group's invitation to people towards an Islamic life, whereas Saudi Arabia is moving towards liberal society. And this week, Bin Salman has removed compulsion on hijab as well from Saudi Arabia. The Muslims globally and specifically in Pakistan, India should see what their loyalty towards Saudi is paying back to them now. whether Tablighi Jamaat will take an anti-Saudi stand and expose the evils cropping up in Saudi Arabia or remain silent, that time will speak. The moment this news came out, India encashed it and welcomed the decision of Saudi to put a ban on Pakistan-sponsored terrorist groups. The Tablighi Jamaat in India were accused of spreading coronavirus in 2020 when the cases first started in India, and a lot of venom was spit from Modi's media channels against Muslims under cover of Tablighi Jamaat. BJP's vice president has written to Indian president to ban Tablighi Jamaat on the same lines as Saudi. On one side, they're wiping off Christian missionaries, and now they're after Muslim organizations. Eventually, they ban most of the leading Muslim organizations, trusts in India. This way, they would eliminate any chances of rebellion, protests in organized manner done by such groups. All this giving very dangerous signals on how ground are being prepared for either genocide or mass-scale eradication of Muslims from India. And Netflix cuts down prices for their packages in India. Netflix is a video-on-demand application where people can watch movies, TV serials, and various shows. It has become very popular globally and primarily in India, where they have 14% of the market share for online. Netflix wants to capitalize on more users amidst tough competition, hence they have cut down their charges by 60%. Viewers, online video-on-demand platforms like Netflix do not come under any censorship regulations. Hence, they have been broadcasting the filthiest of movies, series primarily targeted towards lust and cementing illegitimate relationships. The culture of lust, which has already destroyed the human values in the Indian society, will further deteriorate when such services become affordable to broader masses. It is essential for scholars and intellectuals to conduct a pathological analysis of this social disease and make people aware about the destruction these things are causing, specifically to people of faith. Ram Mandir in Ayodhya would become a center of Hindus like the Vatican and Makkah. A sudden hype is seen on Ram Mandir, and this is something we mentioned before, that RSS, BJP and Hindu extremist organizations are using Ram Mandir in Ayodhya to play with the sentiments, emotions of common masses. In a recent statement by VHP President Rabindra Singh, where he said that Ayodhya will emerge as symbol of Hindutva on the lines of the Vatican City and Makkah. The Ram Janambhoomi pilgrimage region in Ayodhya will emerge as a symbol of Hindutva, Vishwa Hindu Prashad President Rabindra Narayan Singh said on Sunday. The Ram temple in Ayodhya is being developed on the lines of Vatican City and Makkah so that it could become a symbol of the religion. It would become a symbol of Hindutva, he said. The extremist Hindus have an element of enmity with Muslims, with a belief that holy Kaaba in Makkah was a temple with idols before, and it was their prophet, peace be upon him, who transformed it into a Muslim center. And at the same time, Hindus do not have a global center. Ram Mandir is being used for this now. After the inauguration of Kashi temple, 11 chief ministers have headed towards Ayodhya this week. In the upcoming elections in UP and central elections in 2024, BJP is playing the politics of majoritarianism and wants to cash in on all Hindu votes. The Congress leader Rahul Gandhi also jumped in the race and moved his policy from appeasing minorities towards getting majority votes and made a controversial statement that India belongs to Hindus. But not Hinduwadis, means those who promote Hindus, even though the Constitution of India says India belongs to people of all faith and even those without faith. The future seems to be dreadful for minorities in India, but they don't seem to be making any plans for their survival. RSS vows Ghar Wapis of Hindus who converted to other religions. RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat, in a mega gathering of all Hindu priests and seers, made everyone vow to stop conversion. Take a pledge that I will persuade those who have converted to embrace Hinduism and also make sure that the Hindus don't convert. I also take a pledge to protect the dignity of our Hindu sisters, Bhagwat said.
मैं प्रतिज्ञा करता हूं कि
मैं प्रतिज्ञा करता हूं कि
किसी भी हिंदू भाई को
किसी भी हिंदू भाई को
हिंदू धर्म से विमुख नहीं होने दूंगा। जो भाई धर्म छोड़कर चले गए,
जो भाई धर्म छोड़कर चले गए हैं,
उनकी भी घर वापसी के लिए
उनकी भी घर वापसी के लिए
कार्य करूंगा एवं उन्हें परिवार का हिस्सा बनाऊंगा।
परिवार का हिस्सा बनाऊंगा।
हिंदू बहनों की अस्मिता, सम्मान और शील की रक्षा के लिए मैं सर्वस्व अर्पण करूंगा।
The RSS chief appealed to the seer that you have to unite all the Hindus from various sects. All these are preparations for something big, and that could be the complete transformation of India into a Hindu nationalist region controlled by extremists. So would it turn into another Taliban-ruled Afghanistan, or would this aspect only remain for minorities and India will be a combination of liberal and extremist Hindu country soon? And wave of liberalism targeting Muslims in Kerala. Kerala is dominating Muslim community state, and these Muslims are highly practicing Muslims. Two issues came up last week in Kerala. One was a sex education animated film released by Kerala government targeting children from 6 to 10 years, where they are educating children about mating and other women puberty related issues. The justification given by the state was to educate children about such things at a very early age so that they don't go and ask strangers and get into trouble. Such kind of initiative seems to be part of the global agenda of RSE proposed and aggressively promoted by UNESCO. And this project in Kerala is also founded by UNICEF. At the same time, Kerala schools have been asked to follow a unisex uniform in schools, even for class 10. Muslim girls in Kerala wear hijab and Arabic gown under it in schools. But with this change, they have to wear tight shirts and pants. The Muslim Coordination Committee protested against this, and instead of this turning into a Muslim versus state confrontation, other liberal Muslim groups are objecting that certain Muslims want to make our children orthodox in this modern era. It should be noted that since the time BJP badly lost the elections in Kerala, there have been various attacks on Kerala disturbing its communal harmony. A Christian priest was used to speak against Muslims. Kerala High Court was bypassed by BJP when it carried out violence in Lakshadweep Islands. A curb on selling halal food was initiated, and now a liberal culture is being imposed. All this is happening without the BJP government, but definitely with BJP infiltration. At the end, this is the beauty of democratic system, where you can govern the policies even if it's not your government. And viewer Sadhvi says, buy swords instead of mobile phones.
कि अयोध्या में प्रभु श्री राम का मंदिर बनेगा, तो दुनिया की कोई ताकत नहीं रोक पाई। ये मैं उसकी पत्नी अंदर से तलवार लेकर के दौड़ी कि मेरे सामने मेरी माँ को कोई लेके नहीं जा सकता। अगर 25-25 हजार के कैमरा, कंप्यूटर इत्यादि खरीद सकते हो, तो 1000 रुपए की तलवार भी खरीद के घर में जरूर रखना।
Indian state Karnataka, which is now turning into a spotlight state of hatred towards minorities, where more than 30 Christian churches were attacked in 1 year. Several Muslim youths mob lynched and tortured in police stations again flashed in news when Sadhvi Saraswati, a prominent young VHP leader, asked people to buy swords instead of spending lakhs on mobile phones in order to protect cows and their families. Since 2014, when Modi came into power, India has seen a violent campaign against cow slaughter, and a cow seen with Muslim means an invitation to death penalty. Sadhvi says, since birth I had two missions. One was to build Ram Mandir, and second, to protect cow slaughter. Several Indian extremist Hindu leaders recently have been promoting weaponization of Hindus by present Muslim as a threat to their culture of worshipping cows and marrying Hindu girls. When Hindu homes get equipped with swords and eventually guns in hatred of Muslims, then you can imagine what danger it poses for the life of Muslims. As we have been saying this, in India, it's not just the faith and practices of Muslims which are in danger now. It is their lives under major threat. But are the Muslims seriously awakening towards finding a salvation path still remains a big question. Muslims prosecuted for Delhi riots. In the ongoing court trial for culprits of Delhi riots of February 2020, 10 Muslims have been prosecuted for creating mischief and threatening Hindus to leave the country, thus instigating these riots. And reality is Muslims were the most who suffered and more than 60 killed. Houses and mosques burned. On the other hand, Kapil Mishra, who openly called the Hindus for riots, and two other BJP leaders who raised slogans for shooting Muslims as traitors, were acquitted by court respectfully. This is India, where there is no justice, only prejudicial hatred, even at the level of judiciary. And petition filed to stop namaz at Eidgah Mathura. As we have predicted that after Gurgaon, this movement to stop prayers will stop across pan-India. And this has started that too at the next prime target of Eidgah Mathura, which the Hindus claim to be the birthplace of their Lord Krishna. The petition reads that this is property of Hindu parties and no namaz was being offered before over here. And they have also written to court that as per Muslim Sharia law, namaz cannot be offered at disputed places. It is apparent now that Muslims are very soon going to lose another icon identity of Eidgah Mathura, and eventually the rights pray will gradually be taken away. And then eventually the rights to remain Muslim, as we have mentioned before in this report, that RSS and BJP have announced a movement of Ghar Wapsi, means all Indians were Hindus before, hence they should return back to Hinduism. The Muslims are under serious threat, but no Muslim leaders, scholars are coming out seriously. Why this much courage? Towards the end now, you can see the story of courage by apostate Wasim Rizvi, who stepped into the office of Shia Waqf Board in his orange Hindu priest attire to submit his resignation. He came along with news channel and daringly stepped in and sat on the chair, whereas many Muslim centers, organizations have issued death verdicts for him. And now he's sitting within Shias, the followers of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, with a turban scholar also sitting and leaving the place untouched. From where has this apostate got this much courage? It's from the fear, negligence, and unconcernedness of Muslims. He knows these Muslims can't do anything to him, even after utmost defamation of Quran and Prophet, which he has done. And viewers, new bill passed raising women marriage age to 21. India has passed a new bill to raise the age of marriage of girls from 18 to 21. This means any marriage done under 21 would be illegitimate. India already has highest rate of rape and women molestation, but increasing the age of women marriage, they're delaying marriages, which would result into more crimes and illegitimate relationships. This is the culture of adultery and living in relationships without marriage being promoted as that is not a crime, but to marry under 21 would be a crime. Asaduddin Awaisi slashed back on Modi that he is acting like a local don who is controlling what we should eat, which god we should worship, and when to marry, whom to marry. Awaisi said 18 years old can do business, sign agreements, but they cannot marry. In the West, the age is as low as 14 for marriage without consent. So why is India raising this age? The prime reason is to control population, and specifically in Muslims, because lower age marriages for girls are much higher in Muslims than other sects. Respected viewers, we hope you have gained from this insight on tragedies that are taking place in India against minorities. And the entire world is silent. We can understand most of them are themselves anti-Islam, but now even Christianity is under severe attack in India. So why they are still silent? It looks like the world is getting totally deprived of human values. Politics is getting centered around personal interests, and the oppressed poor people get ignored and suffer till they take their last breath. We will continue with our reports, and just one humble request: as we make you aware, you make others also aware by sharing this report as much as possible. Take care. Allah Hafiz.